Hi everyone, so it's finally time to talk skincare, and I think it's been maybe a year and a half since I actually did a skincare routine video or even a dedicated skincare video. So sorry about that. I think it's just because I try so many different products. My routine's never a set group of things, so it's kind of hard to nail a certain one down. But at the moment I'm using a couple of things that I do really like that I think work well together. So I thought I would show you my entire routine, and I'm going to split this up over 2 videos because otherwise it's going to be really long, because I do like to use quite a few different products. So as you may have guessed from the title, this is going to be my morning routine, and my evening one will go up in maybe a few videos time, about a week or so. But actually I am coming up to my 100th video. It's actually going to be my next video after this one, and I asked on Twitter what you wanted to see, if there's anything special you wanted me to do, and loads of people said just a Q&A, because I think I don't really answer a lot of personal questions or any of your questions at all. I try to answer everything in the comments as much as I can, but sometimes things get forgotten. So I'm going to be doing a Q&A for my next video, and I thought you can either leave the comments below, or I'm going to set up a hashtag on Twitter. So the hashtag will be Ask Alex, and you can use that to ask me all your questions. So you can tweet me them, put them in the comments, ask them however you like. So onto the actual routine, and I should probably start by saying my skin type, which is, it's kind of a funny one. It's a combination, but it gets a bit dry, sometimes it gets really oily. At the moment I think because we're having quite cold weather, it's quite dry, dehydrated. I've got a few little dry patches around, mainly like my chin and on my kind of cheeks and places like that, but my T-zone still gets a little bit oily, and especially if I am wearing makeup I do get quite shiny throughout the day, so kind of combination oily to dry. So because of that I don't really like to put a lot on my skin in the mornings, just because I don't want it to come through my makeup. But everything I use is kind of quite lightweight but still quite hydrating as well, because I do believe in just putting as much moisture into your skin as possible. So I start with the Radical Skincare Hydrating Cleanser, and this is a really lovely one because it's a very thin lotion. It's very lightweight, very refreshing as well, which I do like to use in the morning when my skin's feeling a bit groggy and a bit tired, but it is really moisturising. So you basically massage this in, and then I like to take it off with a muslin cloth regardless of what cleanser I'm using, whether it's an oil, a balm, a lotion. I always take it off with some kind of flannel or cloth. This is a flannel actually from Boots. I find you get a little bit more exfoliation with these, so I do like to use those all the time. The one thing I try to avoid is foaming cleansers, because I find they really dehydrate my skin. Not only do they instantly kind of feel tight and uncomfortable, like they've just taken all the natural oils out, but they do over time I think make my skin look drier. So since I've switched to more cream products, I've definitely noticed a change in my skin, even though it is still quite dry now, but I'll just be blaming the weather for that. So then I use a toner, or I try to use a toner when I actually remember. It's probably the one step that I always forget. I'm usually halfway out the bathroom door and then I have to go back and do it. But the one I'm using at the moment is the Kiehl's Ultra Facial Toner, and this is really quite different. I think when you think of toners, usually you associate them with quite astringent products, quite stripping, kind of like alcohol based things, but this one is almost like a lotion. It's a very thick liquid, and it just injects so much hydration into your skin. It's a really nice way to sort of tone up and tighten the pores and get rid of any last little bits of cleanser, but at the same time add a bit of hydration again into your skin, so I really like this one. After that I move on to serums and moisturisers and things, and I have 2 serums that I always use every single day without fail, and they're both from Indeed Labs. These are Pepta-Bright and Hydraluron, and I do talk about these quite a lot. I think they're kind of my little skincare secret weapons, really, as cheesy as that sounds. I think they do so much for my skin. So the first one I use is Pepta-Bright, and this one, although it's actually aimed at sort of pigmentation and brightening dark spots and things, I think that's really misleading because it does so much more for your skin. It's incredibly radiance boosting, so as soon as I put this on my skin just looks like it's glowing, and although it is quite moisturising, you feel like you've got it on your skin, once it sinks in it still leaves that amazing glow. And I do like to have a bit of glow in my skin, as you probably know, and I do like my highlighters and all my kind of radiant makeup products, but I think using this just makes such a difference to it as well. And then on top of that I'll use the Hydraluron, and this is basically, it's a really funny texture. It's almost like a jelly type feeling, and when you put it on it feels slightly sticky, but once it sort of absorbs in you can then go on with your moisturiser, and it acts almost like a super glue. It just locks in every little bit of hydration, every bit of moisture into your skin, and it's made up of hyaluronic acid, which is found naturally in the skin, and I think it just sort of promotes a lot of water and plumpness. And I do find when I use this my skin just looks like so juicy and plumped and fresh. It's amazing, and it definitely keeps my skin hydrated for a lot longer, so my moisturiser, sort of the effects last a lot longer. I think it's really great for people like me with combination skin, because in places you need that extra bit of moisture, but then you don't want anything that's going to feel too greasy or too heavy, and both of these actually act as real great hydrating products, and yet they don't feel like you've got them on the skin, so really great for combination skin. After that, I'll use an eye cream, and this is the GinZing eye cream from Origins, and I think this is the first ever eye cream that I tried or purchased, probably the first thing from Origins that I ever bought as well, but I've gone back to it. I think it's just lovely to use in the mornings because it has this really kind of sheer illuminating pigment in it, nothing too sparkly or too full on, but it just really helps to brighten up your eyes, and the ginseng in it is really cooling and refreshing, and it just makes you feel more awake. It makes you look like you've had 8 hours sleep even though you haven't. It's also got a really lovely lightweight texture to it, and it's the sort of eye cream that doesn't make your concealer slide around, it doesn't affect your makeup at all, it just sinks in and does the job. So when it comes to moisturiser, I do really struggle to find the perfect one. I think because my skin changes throughout the month, it changes so often, there's never one particular cream that does everything. So I do like to use a different one in the day, a different one in the evening, but at the moment I'm kind of switching between a couple. I really like the GinZing moisturiser, actually the one that goes with the eye cream, but it's got a very lightweight gel texture, so amazing when my skin's a little bit oilier, maybe in the summer, but at the moment it's just not quite rich enough for me, but I will go back to using that one probably. But at the moment I've been really enjoying the Pie, Camellia and Rosehip Sensitive Skin Cream, and this is nice because it really does moisturise those dry patches, it takes away any flakiness on my skin, so it feels like it's really hydrating, and yet it has this almost slightly satiny finish to it. It doesn't look shiny once you've put it on, so it helps out with any oily patches. It kind of keeps the oil at bay around the T-zone, so again really great for combination skin like my skin is at the moment. I actually discovered this when I was having a really bad skin month, I guess. It was really irritated and red, and I had blemishes everywhere, and it just wasn't good, and all my regular products that I was using just stung, and I didn't really want to put anything on it at all. But then I found this and I started using it, and it was so soothing and cooling, and within a couple of days my skin actually felt back to normal. Although it still looked a bit of a mess, it felt a lot better. So this, brilliant when you're having kind of like a sensitive skin moment, or if you just have sensitive skin in general. It also smells amazing, and I do find that most Pie products have just an incredible smell to them, even though they're all organic and natural and there's no harsh chemicals and things in them, so they're a really nice brand. So the very last thing I use is an SPF, and I'm sure you've heard me go on and on about how much I love SPFs, how much I actually believe in using them every single day, even if it's raining, even if it's snowing. I think the effect that the sun can have on your skin is really worth protecting against. So the one I'm using at the moment, and my absolute favourite, is the Kiehl's Ultralight Daily UV Defense SPF 50 PA+++ UVA, and I think that may just be the longest product name in history, but this one is so light you can barely feel it on the skin, and I think the main thing that turns a lot of people off to using SPF is the fact that it can feel quite heavy and quite greasy and sticky, and it can also leave some kind of white cast on your skin sometimes, make you look quite ashy, but this does absolutely none of that. It sinks in, it doesn't even feel like you've got anything more than your moisturiser on, and it just feels very lightweight. It lets your skin breathe, and that's the main thing. This bottle I've actually had now for probably about 7 or 8 months, and it still is going. I've even bought a new one just in case it runs out, but it just keeps on coming out, so definitely worth the investment because this has lasted me for using it on a daily basis for nearly a year, so that's amazing. And that is my morning skincare routine. So those are the products that I'm using at the moment, but it will probably change every so often. Mainly the cleansers are the things that I tend to switch out the most, just because I do for some reason like trying out new cleansers all the time. But I will try and update you if it does change, if I get any more new products, and I might start doing sort of every couple of months a skincare update, maybe on my blog or on here if you'd like to see that, so let me know if you do. So also don't forget to keep an eye out for my evening routine, which will be coming up soon, and don't forget to leave your questions below as well for the Q&A, so either in the comments or on my Twitter with the hashtag #AskAlex, and I'll be answering them all for you very soon. So thanks so much for watching guys, and I will see you all in my next video.